Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to another episode of Manifesting Muslimah. I'm your host, Zara Pedersen, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about how to become really good at receiving. And I will also tell you why this is so important, and then I will tell you how to become really good at receiving. Before we get into today's episode, and it is a really good one, I just want to ask you guys for a recommendation. Those of you who may know, I don't know, and if any of you know, I don't know, which is why I'm struggling to find the correct equipment. In the last 2, 3, 4 episodes, been recording the episodes on my Canon camera, and I bought an external mic for it. The video quality for those on YouTube, I feel like it's been great, but and even the audio has been good for YouTube. But for those who are listening on podcasts, I don't like the audio quality. Now, I have this microphone that I'm recording on today, but I'm also recording on my iPhone, the video, because this microphone will not work on my Canon camera. So I would really like to be able to combine good audio with good video quality. So if anybody knows of a podcast microphone that'll work for a Canon camera, EOS 200D, Canon EOS 200D, that'll give me good audio, work on that camera, so that I don't have to sacrifice either good video quality or good audio quality, I would greatly appreciate it, because I'm a little bit lost as to what will actually work, because this microphone that I'm using right now in theory should work, and I don't actually know why it doesn't work. So I'm just so terrified of having to buy several microphones, and several of them are not working because I'm missing some crucial information about technology that I just don't have. So if you have any recommendations, please send them along. I could definitely use that. But for now, because I really don't want to sacrifice on audio quality, mainly because this is and was first, before it became a YouTube thing, a podcast. So it's very important for me that the audio is crisp and clear. And it's not that you couldn't hear anything or that it was echoey or something when I was recording with my camera, but I do feel like you could hear more of the room in the in those audio clips, and I didn't like that. And as somebody who loves podcasts myself and listening to podcasts, I understand the importance of good audio, because I will not listen to a podcast if it has really bad audio, unless it's real beginners. But I'm not a beginner at this point. I've actually had several podcasts and been on several podcasts, and this podcast, we're 150 plus episodes in, almost 160 episodes in. So I'm not a beginner anymore, and so I don't feel like I can afford beginner audio on a podcast. Does it make sense? Anyway, so yes, feel free to recommend any microphones that you think would be good for me. Inshallah, I would greatly appreciate your help. All right, so let's get into the subject, because this is such a good one. Why do you need to be good at receiving? Why is this topic so important for you to know and to learn and to understand? Well, my darling, it is because simply by being Muslim and making dua, you're putting yourself in the position of being someone who has to receive. From where? From who? From Allah. The moment you sit down to make a dua, you're asking Allah if you please can receive your dua from him, whatever it may be. Can I please receive a husband? Can I please receive some money? Can I please receive good health? Can I please receive whatever it might be? You're putting yourself in a position where Allah has to give you something, which means you receive it. Okay, so this is why it becomes so important for us to not just understand what it means to be a good receiver, but actively work towards becoming good receivers. What does it mean to be a good receiver, and what do I have to do to receive well? So one of the things that I think we severely underestimate is the energy of receiving stuff, because a lot of us are really bad at receiving, and we also almost put a lot of shame on the act of receiving without guilt. So we put a lot of guilt on top of receiving. Oh no, I can't just receive something, I have to give something back. Or I can't receive something, I should just be grateful for what I have. And I see this a lot, especially amongst religious people, and not just Muslim, but a lot of religious people. There is almost this subconscious belief that we should be givers rather than receivers, or givers over being receivers. But we actually have to be able to put ourselves in both positions in order to have that beautiful balance that makes it easier for us also to live in this dunya, and even to be able to give in a healthy, balanced way, without giving and feeling resentment afterwards, without giving and feeling like you have nothing else to give, without giving to the point where you're draining yourself, so on and so forth. So when we're asking Allah for something, we're, as I said, asking Allah to please, will He give us these things? But we're asking Allah for this, and yet we're really bad at receiving. And this is where I'm going to go into sort of like energy talk, okay? So if you don't like woo woo, too bad. We're going into the woo woo stuff. I'm a Muslim hippie. It is what it is. The energy of receiving is the same whether you want to receive a cracker, like a biscuit, from someone because you're hungry, or you want to receive a gift on your birthday, or you want to receive a really large paycheck from a client, or you want to receive a house, a partner, Jannah, you know, all of these things. The energy actually is the same. The energy of receiving remains the same. But the problem for a lot of us is that we haven't even learned to receive on a small basis, which means that having to receive on a larger scale feels very unsafe for us. It doesn't feel like something we can do without guilt or shame. And as a result, we have a very difficult time receiving the blessings when they come to us, because we feel like we have to pay it back, or we feel like we can't receive it because we're not good enough, or we can't receive it because that must mean other people can't have it, or you're going to put other people in a worse position by you receiving it, and so on and so forth. And that is problematic thinking, because that means that when somebody's trying to give you something, and it could very well be the thing that you've been asking Allah to bless you with for all of this time during your du'as, when they're trying to give it to you, you keep resisting it. You keep resisting it. It's coming, and you keep saying no. You keep saying no. It's resistance. Not being able to receive on an energetic level, even the small things, means that you cannot at the same time expect to be able to receive on the bigger things, the things that you're genuinely asking Allah for to give you. And this is why it becomes so important for us to understand the energy of receiving and how to become good receivers. And the first thing we have to work on, the first thing we have to work on, and then the second like actual action that we have to work on, is the understanding. So before anything else, we have to understand that the energy of receiving is the same. The energy of receiving remains the same. But again, if we can't receive on a small basis, we won't be able to receive on a large basis. But the energy doesn't change. The level of being able to receive, the energy of it isn't like it requires more effort when you're receiving something big. It's the same energy output, but it's where it feels safe. And so we have to learn to feel safe even when we receive smaller things. And when it's kind of like I feel like I've used this metaphor before of working a muscle. As you get stronger and better at it, it doesn't require necessarily a ton more effort to lift 10 kg as it does to lift 1 kg. Of course, yeah, we're going to use a little bit more muscle, but it becomes easy at some point, right? So it's not like we have to strain and sweat and grunt and stuff as we're lifting the 10 kg. But of course, we have to build that muscle so it becomes easy for us. So we don't go into the gym and we expect ourselves to lift 100 kg. We go in and we start with 10, then 20, then 25, then 30, and we build it up. It's a gradual build up. And as you get stronger, it becomes easier to lift more and more weight. And that's the same kind of energy we have to put into receiving. When we're good at receiving the little things, it becomes easier to receive the bigger things. It's sort of like the accumulation of the work that we do, but you will come to understand as you do this work that it is not that you're putting more effort into receiving larger things, it just more practice. So it becomes easier for you to receive those things, not because it's harder, but because you're just so used to receiving at that point. So coming back now, so that was the first thing, understanding the level, like the energy of receiving is not like, oh, it gets harder as the quantity of receiving grows or anything like that. In fact, it just gets easier because, again, why? The muscle, it has been worked out, it gets stronger. So how do we do that? The first thing is we start with the little things. Again, it's like, anything else. We don't run a marathon. We start by walking maybe 5,000 steps a day. And then we maybe go for a light jog or interval jogging and walking or something like that. And then we build it up gradually. So how do we receive first? What's the first thing we can receive? Compliments. For instance, a compliment. How many of you right now, and you can raise your hand or you can laugh at yourself, because I had to do this for myself also once upon a time when I was wondering why I had such a difficult time earning money on Manifesting Muslimah. Because why? I'm putting out these good products but like nobody's signing up, nobody's doing, because I couldn't even receive a compliment. I couldn't receive anything without feeling guilt, shame, without feeling like I had to give it back, any of these things. I don't feel that way anymore, alhamdulillah. Like I'll still give back and stuff, but there's no guilt or shame associated with it. But I understood that I couldn't even receive a compliment. So how could I receive other things without applying the same level of guilt and shame onto it? Because receiving felt like something that should not be done. Like shame on me for receiving. I should be giving more than I should be receiving. So the first thing I had to do was stop making excuses or almost minimizing myself when people wanted to compliment me. It's like, oh, Zara, I really love this thing that you did. Or Zara, you look so beautiful today. Or Zara, that was really intelligent. Or Zara, there's this, that, and the other. And instead of me saying what I'd usually do, which would be, if somebody said, oh, Zara, you look so pretty today. I just felt really tired, so I put a little extra mascara on. Or like, oh, yeah, I guess, I don't know. Like making excuses almost, you know what I mean? And we've all done it. Like, oh, no, not today. Like I literally just threw it on. I didn't even shower. Like where you start minimizing yourself, like you start apologizing almost for like taking up space, and somebody recognizing it. And that was the first thing I had to understand was like, oh, wait a minute, I can't even receive it when people give me a compliment. Like I'm struggling to even receive that without feeling like I have to minimize it or I have to immediately pay it back. And like, wipe the booger off on them, so to speak. It's like them trying to wipe a beautiful booger on me, which is a compliment, and me going like, oh, please don't wipe that off on me, I'll give it back to you. So instead of being like, oh, Zara, you look beautiful today, and me just saying thank you, I'd be like, oh, that's so sweet, but really, no, you're the one who looks beautiful. Like, it's just because the sun is shining today. Oh, really, I didn't even shower. Like, I really, you don't even want to know, like, how disgusting I really am. Like, really apologizing or wiping it back off on them or doing, like, making up excuses as to why this compliment is invalid. It's just invalid. You shouldn't be giving me this thing. I shouldn't receive this compliment because I don't feel it. I don't think I deserve it. I think you look better. Whatever else like insecurity might have been going on there. So my first task that I had to teach myself was just to say, thank you. I really appreciate that. Oh, thank you. You know what? I feel pretty today. When people compliment the podcast, thank you. I've been working really hard on it. I tried my best to really put out good content. So, I'll take critical feedback, of course, but like constructive feedback. But at the same time, I'll also take the compliments. Thank you for complimenting it because I've been working hard on it. It's something that I love to do. If people want to say, I really love your book, Zara, thank you. Thank you. I really think I'm a good writer. I put a lot of effort into my writing and it comes naturally to me at the same time. And I really love writing. So I'm glad other people enjoy my writing as well. Instead of constantly, oh no, because one of the things I used to do in the past with my writing, for instance, for those of you who may be new here, I'm a published author in Denmark with 2 books, and I've self-published a couple of books as well. And in the past, before I became a published author, when people would read some of my writings on blogs or articles and stuff like that, they're like, wow, Zara, you're a really good writer. Like you got like a good tone and all these things, I'd be like, oh yeah, but it comes easy to me, like, so it's really not like that hard. Like, I should really try a different genre, to really, make it more difficult. Like, I almost like felt like I can't receive that compliment because it's easy for me to write, because I have a talent in that. So it felt wrong for me to receive a compliment simply because I don't have to work hard at it. You know what I mean? And I'm sure you have the same thing somewhere in your life where there's something that you're really good at. And so when people compliment you, it's like, oh yeah, but I've been able to do this since I was a kid, so it doesn't really count, almost, or you feel that way, right? So the first thing is just to learn to receive a compliment. Don't apologize for it. Don't minimize it. Don't deflect it. Don't make excuses for it. Don't do whatever it is that you feel the need to do when that comes up. So just learn to say, thank you. I receive your compliment. Thank you for seeing me today. Thank you for acknowledging me. Thank you for recognizing my talent. Thank you for not noticing that I feel messy, but at least I look good on the outside. Do you know what I mean? Just thank you. Just thank you. And that can already, in that, just by starting with something that small, for a lot of people can feel so challenging. But I want to challenge you to start there, because that is where most people already struggle when it comes to receiving. The next step is then to receive physical things, right? A gift. When people want to buy you something, oh, I know it's not your birthday, but like, I saw this thing and it made me think of you, so I just wanted to give it to you. Oh no, no, I can't take it. I cannot possibly, right? So it's like, oh my God, that is so sweet of you. Thank you. I really love that you thought of me, and I'm going to cherish this. I'm going to keep it. I'll cherish it. I'll hang it on my wall. I'll wear it, whatever it might be, right? Same thing, even if it's like gifts on your birthday, a lot of people feel a lot of shame and guilt around receiving presents on their birthday, especially if they're receiving from someone that they know might financially have a little bit less than them. Then there's even more guilt associated with it, instead of seeing it as they appreciate me and this isn't an everyday occurrence. They too would like to show me that they care about me in a way that they know how, which is to give me something that makes them think of me. So when they saw this thing, they thought of me, and that's why they wanted to give it to me. So appreciate that and say, thank you. I received that. I receive your I was going to call it feedback, but that's not the word I'm thinking of. I receive your acknowledgement of me and your appreciation of me through this gift that you're giving me. Another one is through money. When people are like, oh, I'll buy you dinner, I'll buy you lunch, especially, and I've seen this quite a bit amongst sisters, amongst really, really close friends, where it can feel a little bit at some point like, oh, but you always buy. But that person might have a little bit more disposable income. You may have children and they may not. You may have other, you may be paying off a larger debt. They may not have that kind of thing. But you start feeling like guilty, or like you feel bad because you feel like you have to give. Accept it. Thank you. Let me know if you want me to pay next time. I'll pay the next time if you want me to. Whatever it is, you can state your objective without declining what they're trying to give you. So you can still receive it and let them know if there is an objection, or it's not even an objection, because more like a hiccup. If you have any concerns, that's the word I'm looking for. So if somebody constantly pays for you and it's not your husband or your dad, but a girlfriend, a cousin, a sister, and you're like, oh, this person always gives. And it's because you don't have a lot of money right now. They have more of a disposable income. You can, from time to time, obviously, like, thank you, I really appreciate that you give this time. I'm going to pay next time. Or, thank you, I really appreciate that. Let me know if you would like that money back, because I can always, wire it to you or whatever, right? So you can always make that statement to make them aware that you're feeling some type of way, but it's not going to stop you from receiving it. So we're not doing the whole like, no me, and then we fight over who's going to pay and stuff. Sometimes that's fun, but we don't want to do that all the time. Okay. And especially if they're insisting, if they go like, no, I'm paying, we don't want to make a whole deal out of it and make it an issue. And I see a lot of people making things like that an issue, right? So gifts, receiving a little bit of money here and there. One of the things Alhamdulillah. My mum and dad, because I don't live next to them, they're, my whole family is in Denmark, or my close family. I also have family in Morocco and other places, but my mum and dad and my close family or immediate family is in Denmark, and I'm obviously living in Sicily. So Alhamdulillah, I'm doing all right for myself financially. I could be doing better, I could be doing worse. Alhamdulillah. And for instance, my mum will sometimes, usually like once a month, once every other month, she'll be like, I'm just going to send you a little bit of money. And every time I say, Mama, I thank you, but I do have, save your money for yourself, right? Like, I'm good, thank you. You don't have to send me anything. And I make her aware of that. And she'll be like, yeah, but I want to. And I'll say, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mum. And that's it. And it's not a question of, she wouldn't send it to me if she didn't have the money, first of all. So let's just make that very, very clear. But it's a question of she wants to show her support and appreciation of me. And I don't want to get in the way of that, because it makes my mum feel good. It makes her feel good to be like, and that's for you to go out and treat yourself to a nice dinner or go to a cafe and sit and have a coffee or a tea. She does that, like, here's a little extra for you to enjoy yourself, because I can't treat you because you're not next to me, right? And I don't want to get in the way of that. I don't want to get in the way of my mum feeling good about the way that she's treating me as her daughter. And if receiving an extra 50 euros a month is the way that my mum wants me to feel appreciated by her or acknowledged by her, then I'm not going to get in the way of that. And I think that's the one thing that a lot of us don't actually recognize that we're doing when we're, rejecting someone's gifts that way, is that we're also rejecting their way of acknowledging us sometimes, or their way of trying to show their appreciation of us. And that can sometimes be quite hurtful to some people. If I'm trying to, even today, oh my God, I can't believe I literally had today an example of this, it wasn't hurtful on my behalf, but but it was to the point where I was like, girl, stop. So I'm learning Italian currently, because obviously I live in Sicily and I need to learn to speak Italian. And I started off going to this church where they have these older women who come in and they, volunteer to help people. It's actually pretty much just all North Africans learn Italian. So I would go to that twice a week. And then this one time I went in and there was this young girl sitting there, Bruna, and lovely girl. And I sat down at her table because the teacher or the woman that I'd been sitting and learning from before wasn't there that day. And Bruna was there and we struck up a little conversation, and she's just a lovely girl. And we did about like a month or so in the church. And then the church broke up for summer. So there's like 2 or 3 months where they're not going to do these lessons at the church. And Bruno was like, listen, I'll happily, continue teaching you if you would like to over the summer, if you'll come to my place down by the beach at my family's house, and I'll teach you still there twice a week. And I'm like, great, that sounds lovely. I would really appreciate that. How much would you like for me to pay you for that? Because this is her own time. And she said, no, I don't want any payment for it. I enjoy it. And I was like, okay, that seems a little bit too good to be true, but I will receive it. Okay, so that's, again, I will receive it because you're offering it to me. And of course, in the first few times, I was like, listen, let me know, even if it's just a little bit, like, just let me know how much you want me to pay you, because I understand it's your time, and so on and so forth. And she was very insistent. I don't want payment for it. It's my pleasure to be able to do this. I don't have I don't have a job currently, and I'm living with my parents, so I don't need the money, but it's an enjoyment for me to do it, and I quite like you, and we get to hang out a little bit. So we've been doing that for the last couple of months. I've been going to her place by the beach, and every Monday and Thursday we have 2 hours where I sit and she's teaching me Italian, and we're just striking up conversations in a lovely friendship. And I've been receiving it, but it's also reached a point now where I was like, I really want to be able to give her something back, because it's not about like not receiving it, but I obviously have not like unlimited funds to just pay whatever for Italian lessons. There's a reason why I went to the church to get my lessons there for free. So I grabbed some money today from myself. I'm not going to say how much, but I got like a healthy little sum of money, because I felt like I can actually afford to pay her this month something, just to give her, as an appreciation. And at the end of today's session, I handed it to her and I said, thank you. And she was like, no, I don't want it. I want it. And we were going a little bit back and forth, back and forth. And in the end, I was like, I'm going to have to put my foot down, Bruna. Like, you have done so much and I'm so appreciative. I won't be able to necessarily be able to pay you all the time or pay you a ton of money, but I have some now and I would really like to give back for everything that you've given me. And enjoy yourself, do whatever you want with this money. It's yours. Spend it on yourself, spend it on your mom and dad, spend it on your dog. It's none of my business, but it's just a way for me to pay you back. So it's, instead of me sort of rejecting her sort of gift of wanting to give me and me receiving these lessons for free, which I'm still doing, by the way, I'm accepting it, but I'm also saying, and now I'm coming to a point where, hey, if I can give you something in return, I would like to, and I can right now, so I gave her. Okay. And so you can receive without it being you're the only one who receives in the relationship, by creating a balance, which is why I said before, if you constantly have somebody who's receiving, giving, and you're the only one who's receiving in the relationship, you can also say, and next time I'm going to give. I won't be able to pay every single time because I simply don't have the funds. But hey, I've got a healthy month financially now, so next time dinner's on me. Right? It's the little thing in return means a lot. It means a lot, and it creates enough of a balance if the other person knows you and knows the intention of it. Okay, so, because some people will simply have more to give off, and some people from time to time just have a little bit less to give off. And I'm not just talking about money, by the way. I'm not just talking about finances. I'm also talking about, energy and patience and whatever else that we give and receive from each other. Okay. And once we've sort of come to the gifts, and especially when it comes to money, we now can start opening up our idea of receiving other avenues as well, from other avenues, receiving. Using another example from myself, I've received the place that I stay at. I received the job that I'm working outside of Manifesting Muslim at the veterinary clinic. For a long time ago in my life, I would have been like, no, I absolutely cannot take that. I live for free. I'm not paying any rent. All the money I make is my money. Not everybody has that. And I can do that because I learned to say, thank you, I really appreciate that. But not in a way where I only receive, I also give in return, right? So the payback, so to speak, for the place that I live in is that I work at the ambulatory, at the veterinary clinic. That because I live literally within like very near proximity to the clinic, that I will go and open in the morning and I will go and close I will go and open in the morning and go and close in the evening, because I literally live right next to it. So it's easier for me than it is for the veterinarian who lives, a 20-minute car ride away from the clinic. So there are little things here and there, but I'm perfectly happy with it, and it makes a lot of sense for me. But we couldn't have made this agreement if I wasn't willing and ready to receive and able to receive anything. Okay, and it started with receiving compliments, and then you can start building gradually. And of course, again, as I said, this isn't a question of you only being the receiver, but it's a question of putting yourself energetically in a place where receiving isn't the enemy. It doesn't make you a bad person. It shouldn't make you feel guilty. It shouldn't make you feel shame. But where you know that there's a natural energy and balance around receiving and giving. And sometimes you have to be in a receiving mode more, and then you'll be able to give more at a different time. So if you right now are thinking, why are some of my du'as not being answered? Why is this thing not coming through? Why this, why that, why all of these things? Maybe think about whether or not you're even in a position right now where you are willing to receive, even from Allah. And I see this a lot, where even in the membership, when I'm talking to some of the girls there, where I can see Allah is literally trying to answer their dua, but because they're so unable to receive it, they have so many hesitations and restraints accompanying it that it feels bad for them to receive it without them feeling like they have to do more or extra or work harder or be better. When in reality, just say thank you, Allah. Just take it. That we have this thing in the membership where we keep saying there is no other shoe, because there's like this whole saying of like, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, you know, it can't be this good. Something has to, something has to give. And I keep saying there is no other shoe. There is no other shoe. Just say thank you, receive it, and move on. And a lot of people, especially when they're receiving really good things from Allah, are waiting for another shoe, but there's never another shoe. And what you will tend to do when you keep expecting this other shoe to drop is you'll take the shoe off your own foot and throw it so there's something that will drop, meaning you're sabotaging it for yourself. But Allah didn't put the shoe there. You're literally the one who took it off your own foot and threw it in the air so that it could hit you on the head. There is no other shoe. If Allah is trying to give you, stop resisting it. Say thank you. Just say thank you and keep it moving. Okay? All right, my darling. I hope that what I shared with you today made sense for you, that you can take from it what is needed for you in your journey where you're at right now. I want you to be able to really scale it right back. Look at literally just how you receive something like, oh, you look beautiful today. Oh, you're like such a good friend. And it just like the smallest things. That's a beautiful dress. Even something like, it's not you, it's the dress you're wearing. And people are like, oh my God, I've had it for years. It was on sale. I don't need to hear that. I didn't say where'd you get the dress from and how old is it. I said, that's a beautiful dress. And your job is to say, thank you. I appreciate it. I thought so too when I bought it, which is why, I'm wearing it today and I think I look good in it. You do look good in it. You see? It's not that hard. It's a beautiful hijab. I love the way that you wrap your hijab. Thank you. I've been practicing it. I think it looks really good on me too. I love the style on me in this color. Do you know what? That color really suits you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm having little conversations with myself right now. Absolutely insane. I'm so sorry. Just giving you examples of how little, like how small you need to start with this. And once you get good at that, it becomes so much easier to receive some of the bigger things that you're asking Allah for. All right, my darling, that is where I will love you and leave you. I will see you, inshallah, in next week's episode on Monday. But until then, my darling friend, please don't forget to live in love.